Hey guys, low light conditions here because I wanted to do this way earlier, but I had a lot of things to do, and I don't fancy having to do this in the fucking morning, so I do actually have shit to do in the day, which is why a lot of these are done in the evening. And while I did get all this set up at sunrise, I've just, I've had other things to do with family. It's my mother's birthday, I have to do this late at night because I've spent all day with her. I'm not going to prioritise mask review over that. She's 50 today, actually, if you're wondering. And I'm going to put another picture of what my fucking camera sees versus what my recording sees of how dark it is. So, as you already know in the title, this is a Siebe Gorman Vista Vision with the GasPro filter, which is why it's been nicknamed the Vista Pro, and its bag and a few other little contents I'll go over. If I actually pull this forward, here you can see Siebe Gorman of England Vista Vision. Of course, you can take the lens off there. There's no actual date stamp on this because it would have been in ink, and the ink is gone. See here, the head harness has broken off at some point. This tab thing here, which is very common on this style of Siebe Gorman rubber, because Siebe Gorman makes dog shit rubber, or made, they're gone now. So it's been tied on by whoever previously had it, and the flapper valve is starting to rot away, sadly. But these things are that uncommon that who cares? Or at least they were uncommon. The fact that I have one should tell you that they stopped being as rare. There was a time when these things were super rare, and then one bloke came along and said, yeah, my father had a weird collection of stuff, and so I've got like 5 of these, lol. First one sold for like a pittance, genuinely terrible because he put it in like the wrong categories and used terrible names. It doesn't know if it wants to focus on my hand or the mask. I'll keep my hand out of the way. So, the person put it on a really terrible category, so it went for really cheap to the wonderful collection of Baroque for days, and of course it came in not as advertised condition. And then it popped up again, and Baroque said, you should go and get the mask off this guy now, he seems to have another one, because I already know that this isn't a scam, because mine's in transit, I have the tracking number. And of course he got his a few days later. Sorry, I know you probably don't want this history, just skip ahead, you lazy shitbag. You don't want to fucking see it. There's people out here who just really do complain, who are like, you're gonna waste my time talking? Well, good news. YouTube has a skip function. You can just go forward and slide the fuck out of my DMs complaining. Genuinely annoying. Anyway, that's talking to you, Devin. My own editor complains about this shit. So, are you gonna focus on the finger? So I sent my offer. I said, hey, your last mask went for very low. I'd like to make you an offer. How does 25 and I'll pay for your post sound? So it came to like £30, and this is what I got. And of course, mine came with mine's actually the worst condition of its bunch, with the damaged flapper and the torn strap. So I got the worst of the lot. Then more kept coming up, and I think the third one went for like £104. They just kept showing up, and then it came back down. And I think there's actually one up now. There might be, there might not be. So I don't know. Anyway, there's also the Siebe Gorman stamp on here. The wonderful waffle. I'm just going to call him Waffle. Fuck it, I don't care. It's your own fault for using your actual name on your YouTube channel name. It's not my fault if you get angry because people learn your name. I keep forgetting your actual name. He has one of these with a box. Actually, I think 2 boxes of filters. I can't remember if it's 1 box or 2 boxes of 5. But he's got 10 of these filters. Poor bastard. Now, of course, the GasPro was essentially a souped-up, more modernized version of the CDR, the civilian duty respirator used in World War II by Britain. Some people call it the BCD. Those people are wrong. They're not entirely wrong. It's just, it's just entirely mislabeling it. I call it a Ford Fiesta. Like, I used to use a German thing. I call it a Volkswagen. I don't call it a German Volks. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. So it was essentially a more industrialized, modernized style of civilian duty respirator, which had one of these filters. Only it used a light anti-gas respirator facepiece. At least some of the later ones did. The one in the collection of Brock for Days, which I originally was going to buy, but he asked me if he could bid on it instead, so he did. I'll keep giving you lots of little histories here. When he got it, he found that it was a lag face piece. I forget the exact type, I'm sure he'll comment it. but most notably it was missing the mic port, which would be here, and instead had a big 60mm style ring on it, where it would have been punched through. So that's really interesting, considering, like, you know, how far Siebe Gorman like recycles masks, because they're very well known for it, and this is a prime example of it. A little bit of history on little Siebe Gorman masks like that, briefly. There's a lot more you can read on the wiki. I'll probably link it in the description, or someone else will. Maybe Waffle, maybe not Waffle, I don't know. Someone will. Excuse me. Where was I? One of their more famous masks is the Mark V Puretta, which was the Mark V GSR face piece, but and even hose, but with their own filters, which are also recycled. I mean, we've seen some of their like interwar filters used in it. Like, is it interwar? God, I will get my head chewed off if I get that wrong. Don't start talking about interwar masks. That's that little niche where people get really arsey about it. Early Mark IV general service respirator filters with the bottom loading hole. We've seen quite a few of those. One came up like 2 weeks ago and I really wanted to bid on it. I sent the seller like 2 offers, and in the last one she declined. She was like, no, sorry, I'm not looking for this kind of price, I'm looking for more. And in the end it sold for my final offer, so fuck you. Siebe Gorman was well known for that. And they even started to make their own in some ways. They actually made white Mark V GSR Purethas. And then in the end they evolved the Mark V and made this, the Vista Vision, which was essentially this face piece all the way around. In fact, I had one upstairs, I could have brought it. I'll make my own video on it tomorrow. It's insanely damaged and it will be going to the collection of some Canadian whose name I don't really know. I need to ship that actually. I'm doing a big ship on Saturday, so to everyone who's waiting for their package, Saturday, because the fucking post office has been closed and there's only one in my town. So they made this, the Vista Vision, which was just this base. I call it a faceplate because it's reminiscent of kitchenware. In fact, it just reminds me of a boiling pot lid made of glass that someone put a hose on. And then at some point, after adapting that, which was stuck to a Mark V GSR facepiece, if I remember correctly, or their own version of it, I can't remember. I think it was their own version. But they made this fucking thing. This came out after. Who thought that was a good idea? Who looked at that and went, do you know what it needs? Instead of an interchangeable GSR cartridge, or even, heaven forbid, a 60mm, or even a 40mm at that point, they made this fucking thing. And this is cursed, because it uses their own version of a civilian duty respirator filter with their own style holes, and in fact this one actually does have a date on it if I remember correctly. No, it doesn't. They're meant to, but the secondary filter it came with did. You'll see here, October 1977. Good luck reading any of the text on it. I really can't. I'll just link my Instagram post to this thing. This is, if you read on here, you can read this. Siebe Gorman protection against low concentrations of agricultural dusts and pesticides complies with This does not go anywhere on this fucking thing. So that's already cursed. We don't know what this thing is or where it goes. And everyone who bought one of these masks from the seller got it with the bag and one of these filters. And we don't know where it goes. My theory was that it slots into a tiny hole inside. In fact, if I hate these clips. How the fuck are you supposed to, like, how's that meant to be quick release without jamming your fingernail into the damn thing? If I can get this off the head, I can show you where I thought it originally went. I've got to be careful with it because of the rubber, and also my wonderful, I keep thinking he's called my director, my wonderful editor, Devin, whose name is not actually Devin, now owns this thing. It's going to be shipped to him very soon. It's going to be shipped to Nick first, and then it will reach Devin. Okay, I'm going to do this off cam because I've got to do it carefully. In trade for an XM28, which originally got lost in transit and was meant to be here weeks ago, in fact even like a month ago. And we were all fucking livid, and I was like, why the hell haven't you got it yet? And some of them were even attacking me, my friend, and even I was pissed off at my friend because I thought, you've not gotten the card, have you, and binned it? Poor bastard. I've apologised to him. I'd say I will, but I already did. As it happens, the people put the fucking misspelled nearly everything on the address. You'd think they'd still send it to the postcode. Well, you gave far too much hope to Parcel Force. They have, however, resent it for free with the correct address. It should be here within a week. So if I, now that I have this off, we pull this down here. Here's your civilian duty style clamp, which I actually really do like. And then you got this little cursed little nodule thing. And I had to use pliers last time to get this thing off, so I don't know how I'm gonna, like, 'cause I didn't bring pliers because I'd forgotten that this thing is like that. Okay, do you know what? I'll just show you from the inside then, I guess. Inside here, you can see the filter there. There's this tight ring around here, and I assumed the agricultural filter went in that, but I must be wrong. I'm actually fiddling with this off cam, but like I want to point out that there's a song rendition of Rocket Man to a fitness class going on in the big building behind my fucking house. You probably can't hear it, I'm wasting time. And I got it. I had to bend it back into shape, sort of, fucking haphazardly. So now we've got our clamp that it really is pinned down for a fucking reason. Lift that off. Like I say, it's a civilian duty style clamp. Peel it off. And now we've got our filter. People often say, what was the point of civilian duty respirator if you couldn't change the canister? Well, some earlier ones were certainly like that, but then they added the clamp so you could. So it's a silly design that they then tried to improve. There's a little inlet valve, World War II style of course, with its traditional telltale white stripe. And here's the inside, rather reflective. And this is where I thought that this filter would go, but it is far too big. I know you're saying it's in the packaging. That doesn't matter none. It still doesn't go in, is the whole point. Like, the diameter is just too fucking thick. If I try and get it in between the bolts even, it just flat out does not fit in that. So we've got no fucking clue. Now, another theory is something else that... Oh my god, I nearly just flicked this fucking thing, Miles. Another little theory is that there's a bag of completely destroyed rubber was once a adaptation ring that would have made it conform to the size. I severely doubt that. I really do doubt that. Oh yes, it would have had a white fabric neck strap. Everyone else who got one of these got one. I didn't. Mine was sliced off at some point. So yes. Not much more I can really say on this. The current theory, though, is that these masks were used for industry like farms, agricultural use. Generally, we're trying to say, hey, let's find out the history of these things, and we did contact the seller, of course, which is how it was found that he was just a strange collector, is all. And another reason for that is not only the agriculture and pesticides filter, which may or may not actually go to that, but is regardless a Siebe Gorman filter. If you happen to... Oh my god, I wonder if this goes to one of those little half-face masks. Because there's been quite a few little Siebe Gorman masks that have been up on eBay recently. And I do wonder if it's to one of those and you'd put it in the bag as well. But generally it's assumed that these were also for agricultural use. Or even... did not break anything there, thank god, only flicked the rubber. The other suggestion was that it was government-owned farms, because of course the government does own agricultural buildings, agricultural stations, whatever you want to call them. And you've got things like your NHS cannabis farms and such, which are protected. And even, I think it was during the Second World War or the Cold War, I can't remember, but there were several farms which were stationed as actual fucking spy bases. It was like, hey, pretend to be a farmer, you're gonna be out here. And these bunkers that they had on these farms were amazing. It was like, stamp your foot on this one place and do this and twiddle with a knob and this. Out in the woods, by the way, I want to point out, unlike the farmland. And then this old stick thing would come out of the ground, you gotta twist that a certain amount of times, and then like a fucking secret doorway opens up to a den There was actually a documentary on them, I wish I could remember the name, that was rather astonishing. And another theory is that these were used by them, but that's rather questionable. I can't really get this back in at the moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it jammed in there, because then I'll just use pliers once I get inside and actually put it back. I've got pliers with no teeth left on them where I've worn them down for use with something exactly like this. So yeah. Oh yes, also the bag, simple, with even yarn straps. It smells really like a farm, specifically a farm with cows, so it smells rather foul. It is just a just orangey colour variant of the World War II civilian duty respirator carry bag, little hip bag that would go at your side. The one that came with Baroc's GasPro was like burgundy, so I wonder if it was meant to be burgundy once. Lots of ums today. Also, if you're wondering, this is just something real quick. I was trying to take photos from a fucking eBay. The sushi is not part of the eBay. That's actually my dinner, because I'm having a bit of a snack instead. So, let's get this packed up. Speaking of which, if you want the thing off there, let me know. I'll be announcing it on my gram. I need to fix that bolt before I put this back in the bag, in case I lose it. So yes. Thank you all for watching. Only 2 of these tonight. Because quite frankly, you don't need many. Because really it is, listening to my voice must be fucking saturating. Must be horrible. You get to watch my sushi ASMR though, with no actual sound, because the dance class just ended. No. I do actually wonder what time it is, and if you're... Are you still watching? I highly doubt that you are. What time even is it? Come on. Ah, 8:09. Okay, well. Chin chin, lads. Oh.